Well, this case was brought by a 91-year-old Republican voter in Colorado who said the lawsuit was really her way of protecting democracy. The case all boils down to the 14th Amendment and a line known as the Insurrection Clause. Should former President Trump be removed from Colorado's presidential primary ballot?
I think that he shouldn't be allowed to be in the ballot because he did commit it was an act of insurrection, and it clearly says it in the Constitution that he shouldn't be allowed to, they have the full right to remove him from the ballot. And I think every state should basically do it.
The 20 respondents to my social media poll disagree, 70 to 30% saying he should be allowed on the ballot. The Insurrection Clause of the 14th Amendment was passed after the Civil War, intended to keep Confederates out of office. But could it apply to the president?
There's an argument over whether officer of the United States actually applies to the presidency.
It states no person shall hold any office as an officer of the United States shall have engaged in insurrection or rebellion. The former president is facing 91 criminal charges, but insurrection, even following the Capitol riot of January 6th, isn't one of them.
I think it was an insurrection caused by Nancy Pelosi.
Outside his Mar-a-Lago estate, Trump addressed the media after watching the arguments.
I'm a believer in the Supreme Court. I listened today, and I thought our arguments were very, very strong.
Meanwhile, protesters gathered in the nation's capital, outside the Supreme Court.
Can you take the person that's leading everywhere and say, hey, we're not going to let you run? You know, I think that's pretty tough to do, but I'm leaving it up to the Supreme Court.
The justices could decide to disqualify Trump, keep him on the ballot, or kick the question to lawmakers and voters. Justices will consider whether states have the right to make decisions about candidates for federal office, or whether Congress has the right to weigh in before enacting the 14th Amendment. Quinnipiac University law professor Wayne Unger also said it's important the court makes a ruling quickly.
Whatever the court rules is going to impact the primaries as they happen.
This uncharted intervention really marks the first time the Supreme Court has gotten involved in a presidential election since the Florida recount of Bush versus Gore back in 2000. Coming up